Welcome back to the forge. It's day 3, and now I'm going to be trying to get the handle and the guard done on this sword. I tried something yesterday that didn't work out as far as getting the template on the guard, and so now I'm just going to draw everything out by hand. It's not going to take that long, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time cleaning this up, marking it out, and then a lot of the time today is going to be spent shaping this guard and reducing weight. I want to keep this thing as light and as comfortable as possible, so I'm going to do some design on the fly stuff, so join me as I do that. We'll see if we can't get a handle put together today, so let's have some fun. So the title of this series is How to Make a Forged in Fire Winning Blade. And in all honesty, I'm just going to show you what I know and what I did. I'm making this blade using very similar techniques to what I did with the show, but I'm improving on some of those techniques. And fortunately, thankfully, mine did win in my episode. One of the most important things that I think in any blade, and especially if it's going to be tested in that way, is first of all, you have to focus on function. And honestly, in the knives that I make in my shop, I focus on function before anything else. If a blade doesn't do its job, no matter how pretty it is, it's a paperweight. So we don't want this to not be functional. So first of all, the blade has got to function. That's why I focused on making the blade properly first. And this blade is straight, it's light, it's hard, it's going to have a great edge. Now we're focusing not on form, but on usability. And in this case, if we're talking about something like Forged in Fire, then it's all about weight. We want to reduce the weight to a certain degree. A blade can be too light, but you want a blade to be balanced and wieldable. Definitely not an overly heavy sword. Too heavy is bad, too light is bad. You want to find that sweet spot in the middle. A good way to look for that is to check for the historical examples of that blade. What did the ones that actually were used in time of war look like, feel like? How big? I mean, look at historical accuracy. Then you can embellish. The final piece of that puzzle, once you've got a blade that's functional, once you've got a blade that's wieldable, that's balanced, then we can start looking at aesthetics. I just happen to be in this stage using some of the aesthetic qualities of this blade to make it more wieldable by making it lighter. So function first, then balance weight, which is essentially part of function, and the last thing we focus on is the aesthetics. One of the things that I'm doing here, hopefully you can see it in the video, is that I'm using the different surfaces of my grinder to accomplish different things. So when you're using a 2x72 grinder, there's lots of different surfaces here. There's a slack area here on mine. There's another slack area here, just a little slack area between the wheel and the platen. You can use the face of the platen, you can use either edge of the platen, you can use the bottom of the belt. Now, obviously, you have to know your machine, and most importantly, you have to do this safely. Don't ever take chances and do something that's going to cause the steel to grab and snag and yank it out of your hands, and always wear your safety equipment, because you only get one life, one body, so you got to take care of it. I'm not going to need a lot of heat here. Just enough to move the metal. I'm going to do some texturing on the surface of this to give it a little bit of a better appearance. And then I'm going to start working it over this tool that I've put into my anvil. If you've watched any number of blacksmithing videos on the internet, you probably already know what this is, but this is a swage block if you're not familiar with the tool. And it's got lots of different cutouts for doing different shapes. This is helping me to form the guard. This one's from a Holland anvil, and it's a great little tool. I love mine. It's so loud in here when the compressor is running. If you're wondering why I'm always wearing my headphones even when I'm not doing something loud, it's because if the compressor kicks on, it gets really, really loud. The guard is roughly shaped and it's looking very nice, if I must say so. And what I know from doing this before is that now I'm going to need to isolate the heat in a few specific spots and tweak those for comfort and fit and everything else. So I'm going to go to the oxyacetylene torch, and that way I can isolate the heat and then use a small pair of pliers or something like that. Maybe some scrolling tongs or something of that nature, just to kind of tweak the appearance and the symmetry of this guard. So that's our next step. Before I do that, however, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of welds right where they need to be to hold everything together nice and tightly. That way it'll make it easier for everything to stay together and I can adjust the shape a little bit easier. So the sword is fit. I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking just to make sure that everything is sitting nice and perfect, and then we'll start working on the handle and the pommel. For the handle, I have got a lovely bit of African blackwood, which is what I used on the sword the first time that I made it. I'm going to cut that to shape, get it rough profiled, get it fit, and then we'll start thinking about fluting it or wire wrapping it or whatever I'm going to do to this thing. Okay, everything is fit up, so now let's go ahead and forge the pommel, and we'll have all the pieces together. We can start working on the fit and finish. For the pommel, I'm going to use this little scrap piece of Damascus, and it's got some really lovely lines in it. And so what I'm thinking about doing, and I'm thinking this through, I can compress it down this way, and then the lines will be running more or less in the same direction that they run on the sword. Or I can turn it 90 degrees and compress it this way, and then I'll have a set of really nice rings on that pommel. And I think the rings would look better on that pommel. I think the battery in my microphone is about to die, so that may mean it's just about time for a time lapse. that's a cool little trick to use with the hand drill to get something more or less round and sculpted to the right shape. So I've got that sitting here. Isn't that lovely? Nice little pommel. So I need to etch it. After I etch that, then I need to sculpt the handle, do the wire inlay, then I need to put everything together, and then I need to sharpen it, and it'll be done. So everything's rough assembled. Got a lot of work left to do still, so that's the way it goes. You think you're going to get something finished, and then you end up finding something else to do, and so on and so forth. Could I finish this in time? Oh, absolutely. I think I could probably finish this with a full day, at least worth of time left. But I'm going to take my time again. Like I said, no rush, and we're going to make this as good as we possibly can, so we can, have a cool little piece to take to shows and let people check out and play. I've had a lot of people ask about this sword. And so I don't want to skimp on making it as pretty as it possibly can be. So thank you guys for joining. Hey, it's really cool doing this YouTube thing with you guys. Hit the like and subscribe button. And something else that I would love for you guys to do. If you're interested in a custom-made knife, or a sword for that matter, reach out to me at www.yellowroseforge.com and send me a message, and who knows, I might end up making a video series making yours. So that'd be kind of fun. So thanks for joining me today. I'm gonna get everything put up, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. Thanks so much for playing.